Developing tonight, the second of two town hall meetings hosted by 5th Congressional District Representative Michael Baumgartner was held at Whitworth University in North Spokane. Good evening. I'm Morgan Ashley. Nonstop Local's Ainsley Anderson was there for us tonight and spoke with one student who was able to voice his questions to the congressman during that meeting.
A town hall meeting hosted by Michael Baumgartner this evening brought out many community members and students eager to hear his stance on topics such as DOGE, economic issues, and tax and possible fund cuts. And we did get to speak with one student both before and after the town hall on how he feels it went.
So just as Joe Biden...
Before tonight's town hall meeting, Whitworth student Nick Yoakum says he was looking forward to having an open conversation with U.S. Representative Michael Baumgartner.
Just the possibilities for today, I'm hoping that people in the Spokane community that disagree with one another are able to kind of be with one another and hear from one another.
When we caught up with Yoakum after the meeting, we asked if he felt heard by Baumgartner. This is what he said.
But I was definitely disappointed in the initial response to my follow-up question because he very much so leaned completely away from the question I asked.
The question Yoakum posed?
Will you commit to defending the rights of all Americans to speak and organize freely, or are you going to continue to support efforts to punish universities and students especially for protesting the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians and any other organized protest that's going to occur as this administration continues to harm the well-being of the majority of this country?
Representative Baumgartner's response.
I think what the University of Chicago has done in the Chicago Statement and what the University of Florida have done of setting real parameters that you can have free speech, but when you have protests that interrupts the learning opportunities of other students, that's where it crosses the line.
Other contentious topics touched on during tonight's town hall: environmental issues, powers of the executive branch, and possible program and tax cuts.
I mean, a lot of those questions weren't sincere questions where they actually wanted to hear my ideas or my position on it. It was they wanted to make a political statement and then show that they disagreed.
And while some in the crowd voiced frustration with the congressman,
Some passion on it.
Baumgartner says he's pleased with the way the town hall went.
I think it went really well. I enjoyed it. It was our 7th town hall. I feel strongly that people have the right to have their voices heard. Obviously there are a lot of interruptions, a lot of rude behavior, and I knew I'd be walking into a room with about 99% of the folks that hadn't voted for me.
And as for Yoakum, he says he feels lucky to have been able to voice his concerns in person, but wishes the crowd's disruptions would have allowed for more answers.
There are a ton of people that had very well thought out questions that didn't get to get asked, and thankfully some people felt that I represented what they wanted to ask, which I was grateful for. But in terms of conduct, the amount of shouting at the congressman, I think I felt in my chest of the same frustration, while also being pretty disappointed in the lack of getting to hear him speak.
Despite disagreement, I mean, sincerely, I really do appreciate you guys coming out tonight.
And Baumgartner says that he is still very interested in continuing to host town halls to foster two-way communication between him and his constituents. In Spokane this evening, I'm Ainsley Anderson, Nonstop Local.